You guys are coming off the big win in Salt Lake, but now you're heading back home where you've played really well. How do you see them carrying the momentum in and maybe being able to get another 3 points?
We've got 9 games left, 5 of them are at home, and for me, every game at home is a must-win. If we want to avoid the knockout game, we need to win and get 15 points. That's our mindset. Now, it may not work out that way. We could fall short. We also, might avoid it by getting less, but our goal is going to be to get 15 points in our final 5 home games, so we need to be ruthless. And we're going to go for, like I said, 3 points. And we've been doing very well at home, getting points. This 3-pointer on the road is nice because if we do come back and take care of business at home, then it's going to help in our seeding.
How much has, you guys obviously still need to clinch playoffs, but how much has it begun to change from the goal being just making playoffs to making, getting one of those home games, getting a higher seed?
Well, we can't relax. We need to focus on the next game, put the last one behind us. It was a big win, emotional. Guys fought hard. They were very hungry. Second half, I thought we were outstanding in the way we managed the game. First half we bent, which you can look and say it could have been better. It could have, for sure. We need to take better care of the ball. But when you go through a bad run of play, you want to not break, and we did. So we can build on that because there are going to be games where we absorb and we're up against it and things aren't going our way. And good teams, they fight through it, and I thought we fought through it. And we had a couple guys make some key plays for us to keep us in the game. And then second half, I thought our fitness showed, our mental toughness showed. I thought we were extremely efficient on the counter. We got 5 shots on goal, clear chances. They got 5 shots on goal as well. They had 15 total shots. We had 10. They had a lot more of the possession, but thought we were very efficient, on the counter and creating quality chances, which ultimately led to the goal. But we've, obviously been defending really well, 3 clean sheets in a row. We need to get the attack going a little bit more. But like I've been saying, if we win every game 1-0, we'll take it. But I'd like to be a little bit sharper on the ball in possession, a little bit, better in the final third.
Coach, in the last few games of the compact style that you've talked about, would you say that's a major shift in your philosophy, or is it just maybe using it more effectively?
No, I think you've seen that this year in certain games. I think we very similar to the New York FC game. We absorbed a little bit that first half, and listen, in both those games, we probably absorbed more than we wanted to. I don't think our plan was to absorb as much as we did in that first half. You put out a plan, but then obviously the game goes how it goes, and you have to always factor in the opponent. So they came out very aggressively. They were getting, at times 7 players forward in the attack. So that means we have to have at least 8 back. So they almost, because they were on top of us and we were giving the ball away, we had to kind of sit deeper because we weren't able to get up the field. And so when you're in that situation, you got to manage it. And I thought we managed it well. I don't think it's exactly the way we designed it. We knew we would absorb, but the second half was a little bit more how we kind of drew it up. But credit to the guys to get through that first half and not concede, and that put us in a position the second half to win the game. We always knew in this game against Salt Lake that we'd adopt a combination of defending deep and countering, and at times keeping the ball and pressing. And I think you saw that in the second half. The first half, it was more them. And like I said, when you're in that situation, you got to manage it, and you can't get broken down, and you can't give up a goal. And I thought we got through it, and that's a real positive. But we don't want to be doing that for 90 minutes.
How nice is it, though, to see you guys have had games where you've played really well and knock out the result you wanted, and maybe to have not your best first half but get the result? How nice is that?
I think that's key. You look at over the course of a season, we've played as the dominant team in a lot of games. You look at our possession numbers and our passing percentages. We're up there towards the top, and we're typically a team that's going to be in that position. But I think this year we've learned that we don't have to be every game. And in some ways, maybe it's better not to be because, especially on the road, when you don't have the ball, the attacking team gets forward, and you saw in that second half they got opened up 3-4 times on the counter where we should have scored before we actually got the goal. You've seen that this year a lot out of Vancouver on the road. You've seen that with DC in some games. You've seen that in really every team in the league at times. They've used the counterattack, and it's something that we've thrown in, and it's something that we've used a little bit more this year. And I think we're a team that's, because of that, gotten points in different ways, which makes us more well-rounded. Like I said, if the game goes in a way that you don't want it to go, then be prepared for it and adapt to it, and still find a way to win. And I thought that's what we did.
This team may have been used to that style. Do you think they're becoming more comfortable with it as the season goes?
Yeah, I think the more it happens, the more you do it, the more you prepare to do it, and then you go into the game, and then it works out. The more confidence you get from it, and so I think it's a real positive. Our road form we were not happy with, which maybe meant that we needed to look at our approach and adapt, and look at our last 2 road games, both clean sheets, and we got 4 points out of the 2 games. That's a lot better than losing 5-0 and 4-1 in the 2 games and 3-0. So we'll take that 3 points over playing, what I thought at times versus Dallas and at times versus LA, some great football, and losing 4-1 and 5-0. We'll take the 3 points. But I'm not naive enough to think that we can play like we did that first half and continue to get points. We need to play like we did the second half. That's more of a drawn-up, counterattacking. We didn't give them hardly any chances in that second half, not clear ones. And every time we picked up the ball, we were efficient on the counter, and we kept enough of the ball to manage the game. And it never felt like we were going to give up the goal. First half it did. It felt like we might. And fortunately we made a couple plays and got through it. And like you said, Jamie, there were a lot of games where you can't believe we lost. We played so well. It's about points now, especially on the road. We want to play certainly at home, in a more attractive way, more entertaining way. We have our fans there, and there is a priority on that at home. But still, the number one priority is points at this stage. But on the road, I think the priority is points. And if we can get points on the road, that might be the difference in us avoiding, an away game in the knockout, or avoiding the knockout altogether. So I think at the end of the year, if we're able to avoid those games, no matter how we play on the road, the fans will be happy.
When you look at the first half of the Salt Lake game, what do you need to be able to do in order, when a team's coming out and pressing you like Salt Lake did, what do you need to do in order to be able to play more like you did in the second half with that counterattacking style?
I think first 10 minutes was good. We knew they'd press, and if you look back on it, we played some balls behind them. Milano started to lengthen the game. They started to soften up. So I think the first 10 minutes was how we drew it up. The minute 10 to the minute 35 was not how we drew it up. They started to now come at us, and I think it was everything to do with us not keeping the ball. You look at our passing percentages, we kept giving the ball away, and it didn't allow us to get up the field. And as I said at halftime on the broadcast, if they go 7 numbers forward and we go 8 to manage that, and then when we win the ball we don't get up the field, then now they stay on top of us, and they just really kept a grip on the game in the front half, and we were never able to turn it until the last 10 minutes of the first half. Last 10 minutes, if you look at that, it was pretty good. We started to keep the ball, started to develop a rhythm. The more you keep the ball, the more you get up the pitch, the more you get numbers up the pitch, the more they have to drop numbers back, and now all of a sudden we're in the front half, and it's a different type of game. We didn't do that in minute 10 to minute 35.
How is Audie?
Audie's good. He's good. He went through the return to play yesterday, and so he trained full out today.
What was the injury?
He had a slight hip strain, so he picked it up in the game, and he didn't train all week. He thought he might be ready, but in the end he wasn't, especially when he tried to shoot. So you can't put a guy in a game he can't shoot, especially a striker. But he could run, and he was close, but just wasn't ready. Didn't go through all the stages of the return to play. So he got through the final stage yesterday, so he should be good to go the rest of the week.
How does that kind of change your approach now that Milano has started and you've seen that?
Yeah, every week you got decisions, and we need to look at those decisions this week based on who's available and how we put the team together and form and all those things. So we'll, just like every game, I have some decisions to make. We'll factor in the opponent, Houston, and with Adi back, we need to decide: do we start him again? Move Milano wide? Do we keep everything the same? Same team, same subs, which is usually never change a winning team, but sometimes if you don't change a winning team, you lose the next game. So those are all things that you have to manage as a coach.
Will Johnson's been back for a while now, but he doesn't seem to necessarily be playing the same way that he has as much up and back. What do you think of where he's at, and whether he's going to be back to maybe the type player he was in past years?
Well, I think he'll definitely be back to the player he was in past years. I think he's back there now. I think he's been a little bit more conscious of his positioning coming back. We need him to be. So with him and Chara, they've played together a lot. They're both box-to-box guys, but they both can't be box-to-box guys at the same time all game. So I think right now what you're seeing is a little bit more of a balance. Even at times maybe he's sitting more than Chara is, where at times last year it was the opposite. So I think it's something that I think's just played out that way, really. It's not like we've told Will, you're going to be sitting all game, and Chara, you're going. I think it's the way it's played out. I think it's probably played out that way because of him still rounding into form and fitness, and his leg's still getting sore. I had to come out of the game the last 5 minutes because he said his leg was just crushed, in terms of soreness. And this is what I think you go through with a broken leg. I mean, Ridgie had the same injury, and he said he still feels it, some games. And his calf still gets tight, and those soft tissues around the break still get sore. So, I think it's amazing that he's played the amount of minutes he's played coming back from the broken leg and put in some good shifts, and the team's done well. So overall we're pleased that he's back in and helping us win games.